What's good, y'all boys? With NBA 2K26 news updates still being a week or weeks away from revealing anything in depth or in specific detail, we're left with little info and speculation, but that doesn't mean they haven't mentioned topics like shooting. And since that's the topic of the video, I think we all know how much of disaster shooting was in 2K25, being overall inconsistent and pointless to master. But that doesn't mean shooting was 100% all bad. They introduced a new mechanic, rhythm shooting, although at first, like many, I gave it no time of day, but eventually came around to it. Now I will say, this was all within a month and a half of the game's release, while shooting was still very much hard still, and just like clockwork, as the community figures out a new method or the meta, 2K patches it. But with that patch, they caved in to a more pronounced audience and lowered the difficulty of shooting overall. After that patch for some time, rhythm shooting wasn't the same, and it left normal shooting with square still the primary way to shoot, and I can only speak for me when I say since that point shooting was a chore. Rhythm shooting feeling clunky at various points, not registering my timing, speed-ups, and slowdowns. And through it all, I still found a way to figure it out and learned to become better at shooting. Yet something still felt off. There has never been a 2K game where I couldn't outright shoot or make the shots I know I'm without a doubt timing perfectly. But then 2K Labs dropped data, it confirmed suspicions, and effectively made shooting worthless and a task.
This is why you might be missing your jump shot green windows on 2K25. Here are two green windows from the first two shots of the same jumper. And if you had released both shots at 590 milliseconds, represented by the dotted line here, you'd green both. And as you can see from the chart, if we judge by timing only, the green window will move slightly from shot to shot, but visually though, it is actually still in the same spot of your jump shot animation. Remember this part, it is important for what's to come. Now, this is what can happen if you can time 590 milliseconds exactly over 4 shots. However, a player obviously can't be that consistent, so here is a more realistic representation of a user's shot timing over 4 shots. Now here's the key part, this is what happens if a player takes 6 jump shots. The shot timings that would have gotten you a green with shots 1 to 4 will now most likely be a miss through shot 5 to 6 due to slight animation changes during your shot. To green more in 2K25, you're gonna really have to pay attention to your jump shot's animation ideal release point instead of relying solely on feel or timing.
Now, as you can understand, this left the community riled up and left me just shaking my head like a disapproving father. Instantly, I knew that they thought cheaters were going to shake in their boots and not cheat. But anyone with common sense knows, if you're going to cheat, you're going to cheat. With 2K failing to understand how to properly combat this, only the legit players were affected by these revelations and changes. Everyone knows shooting for the first week or two is always hard, but no one a month in had no answers on why it seems no one has a flamethrower yet. So by the time they made shooting decidedly easier, the damage had been done and the inconsistencies remained. Shout out to All City Live TV. He also talks about this and gives his opinions on the matter.
Now, this all started because Mike Wang came up with the bright idea that he wanted to match 2K player shooting percentages on a video game to IRL NBA shooting percentages from NBA players. Mike Wang offering 2K players vague terms like, we're tuning your green windows, but never describing to 2K players what that means so that we could adjust our shots. Now, mind you, this is coming off of maybe about 2 decades worth of muscle memory type of shooting. Shooting good was a part of 2K culture, but it wasn't like every single player that got on 2K was shooting well. Very good players who mastered their shot timing would be able to shoot about 80 to 90%, while the lesser skilled players who more than likely took a casual approach to 2K games shot about 50.
As you heard, it was all just one senseless mess. These knuckleheads wanted real-life percentages to be reflected into a virtual video game. As I said before, deep down, I know that this was done to combat cheating, but this also was done to stop the money spending, 2 hours a week playing, come-ups from complaining about being flooded in every game mode from 3. But when the super come-ups are even complaining, you know you have a problem on this game. He also went on to show and talk about what Mike Wang's response was to it all.
Was simply stating that shot window sizes are tuned so that shot percentages hopefully play out in a realistic way, because when people make threes like layups, it leads to boring basketball. But now that the green windows are pure, I can no longer use RNG to make shooting hit specific targets. It's totally in the hands of players, and unfortunately, most players are less consistent than math. Now at this time, the debate continued on. Players just didn't like the smaller green windows, they were unable to adapt, and there were a bunch of cries for change within the 2K community. And this forced Mike Wang to give 2K players two options for shooting. So Mike Wang ended up sending out this post saying, this is really what it all boils down to. If anyone has ideas for a better option than these two, I'd love to hear them. Number 1, keep your green windows, no RNG, which means for the sake of balance, the windows need to be pretty small like they are now so that good players do not shoot 80 to 90% from 3. Again, Mike Wang saying he wants to bring those shooting percentages down to the more realistic shooting percentages from NBA players. He says this makes shooting very difficult for casual players, and it's what we're dealing with right now. At the time, those green windows were way smaller, and casuals were unable to shoot, and even some of the better, higher skill players were unable to shoot as well. Number 2, go back to the bigger green windows that are easier for most people to hit, but cap the excellent timing boost, and it reintroduces RNG to keep the game balanced. This is how 2K shooting has basically worked for the past 20 years.
SMH. These are the same developers working on NBA 2K26, but look like they're attempting to right some wrongs and make some smart changes. I've seen some speculation and reports about shooting in 2K26, but I won't back it unless it's confirmed, one of them being lower 3-ball ratings are going to be viable like how it was on 19 and 20. I would like to stop you for a second. Now, knowing 2K and their shenanigans, what's gonna be the catch? Higher rating requirements? No skill gap to shooting? More indecisiveness by the higher-ups at 2K on what they feel the game should reflect? It's something to consider. As y'all boys grow with me and we head to the top together. I just want to hoop. No BS, no strings, just good hoops. I'll say it again. We're not getting 16 or 17 back, but that doesn't mean they can't make another great 2K because they already made one once before. Again, shout out to all City Live TV as he expresses the same sentiments.
Some of the older shooting mechanics in some of the older versions of 2K, there were really bad shooters on there as well. Skill shooters shot good, bad shooters shot bad, period. People who invested their time into learning their jump shot, creating that muscle memory, they had higher shooting percentages. People who didn't practice just didn't shoot as well. But the point is that the green windows seemed pure, or at least the green windows were wide enough where there was no complication in greening your shot. Players never felt like 2K was making them miss or forcing them to miss. I personally would like to get back to that for NBA 2K26.
Now with that, y'all boys, we're still waiting on news and updates from 2K. Don't forget to comment down below what you think, like and subscribe. With that being that, I'll holla at y'all boys later.